Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video we're going to talk about Power Apps with Azure Privileged Identity Management, also called as Azure PIM. So just to set the foundation for this video, one of the things that I've also been talking a lot about is the setting up the governance and the security for Azure using all the DLPs and everything. But one of the things that we've been focusing on is both the makers and the users. In this video, I'm going to focus on setting up the permissions for the Power Platform admins itself, and this usually works a lot for some of the middle to the large enterprise level companies, specifically those who are under healthcare or financial services. Basically, they have to follow all these rules and regulations. They really need something which is called as a break glass access. Break glass access means that you're already approved, the admins or the administrators are already approved to go ahead and do the admin work, but they don't have that access yet. When they do that, they need what's called as a break glass access, where they go and submit that request, it goes ahead and gets requested, and then for a limited amount of time, they go ahead and have that administrative access. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you using the Azure PIM, or the Privileged Identity Management, that this functionality also works for the Power Platform admins, and how to go about doing that. So let's talk a little bit about Azure Identity Management. So what exactly is the Azure Identity Management? I mean, over here, as you can see, it is service that has been available for a long time. So it's not something that is new, because it's already being leveraged for other functionalities such as Exchange Online, SharePoint Online. It's been there for a while. I'm going to be focusing only on the Power Platform admins, obviously. But in this case, as you can see, that it is to help you manage, control, and monitor access to these important resources. And in our case, it'll be the Power Platform admin. So one of the neat features that I like a lot about the whole identity management thing is it provides you all these functionalities. And I'm not going to go and talk about all of these, but the key thing is it gives you the just-in-time or JIT privileged access, which is the break glass access I was talking about. Also goes ahead and says that, hey, if you want to enforce this, you can also enforce it with multi-factor authentication, such that end users may not always need MFA for their regular access, but for the privileged ones, especially for the admins, you can go ahead and implement the MFA or the multi-factor authentication over there. You can go ahead and put in justifications, so that for the break glass accesses, what's the title, what's the reason. You can even go ahead and make your own notifications and an approval process, where for the Power Platform admin or the administrator role, you can assign certain approvers, so that when people go ahead and put in that access, they go ahead and get the actual approval. So you can actually go through a very steady and a good break glass access process before the admins can even get the Power Platform admin role. So in addition to all of that, I want to talk about the requirements. So there's always licenses involved. So you will need one of the following licenses. Either it's Azure AD Premium 2 or up to the Microsoft 365 M5 or E3s. Just kind of keep this all in mind, that you will need all of these level access over there. And then the privileged role or global administrator. And I'll show you that, because in order for setting up the privileged identity management, somebody who has the privileged role can actually go and do that. And I'll walk you through that as well. So high level of overview of the how I'm going to set up the privileged identity management is the PIM is set up so that the users are eligible for the PIM role. That's basically what I'm saying, is that we need to go and whoever's going to be setting up the privileged identity management process, that role needs to be set up first. So somebody needs to be assigned that role. Second thing is when an eligible user needs to use the privileged role, they need to activate the role in the PIM management. What that means is that, say, me or a couple of other Power Platform admins, they need to be identified as the eligible ones, and they need to be assigned as, hey, John Doe is an eligible eligible user for the Power Platform admin role, and you got to go and assign that. That doesn't mean that he or she already has the role. You just got to say that this person is already assigned. Next is then, depending on the PIM settings configured for the role, the user will have to go ahead and follow certain steps, and that's the same. I said you can go ahead and set up multi-factor authentication for that. You can go ahead and set up the approval process for that. Either way, these processes will have to be followed based on what you set up over there. Number 4 is that when the user activates successfully, that role will be allowed for a certain period of time. And over there, you're allowed anywhere from 1 hour all the way up to 24 hours. That's completely based on your company over there and the decisions they make. You can't put in options that the person can come and select how many hours they need. It's a set time, either 2 hours or 4 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours. The PIM admin will go ahead and set that up. And then finally, the administrators can view a history of the whole PIM process over there. They can go and see when the person was assigned, when the person was eligible, when the person was active. All that, alerts and reviews can be done over there. So, configuration process. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go and first assign somebody named Christy. I'm going to make her the privileged admin, assign that role to her. Then Christy is going to go ahead and review the existing setup, or I'll go and set up the existing Power Platform admin role. Let's just go and take a look to see what all is going on over there. Anything is set up. We'll go and just review that. Then I'll take a Power Platform admin called Diego, and I'll assign him that role. I'll make him eligible for that PIM role over there. And then after that, we'll go ahead and take a look to see when we can go ahead and give Diego access, when we not give Diego access, and things like that. And we'll do some comparison, because I'm assigning Diego that PIM role, which means he will not always be there, but I have somebody else who already has permanent, so we can go ahead and do this comparison over there. All right, so now that you get an overview of how PIM works and how we're going to leverage that, enough with the talking, and let's get into the demo. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to go straight into my Azure over here. Now, what I've done is I've logged in as myself, because I am the global admin, and just to show you that this is just my account over here. You can see it's Daniel.Christian, because I'm the global admin. Now, just to be sure, that's all I am, is a global admin. Okay, I'm not a Power Platform admin. I'm not the PIM. I'm going to assign people those accesses. And there's another thing I'm going to do is, for the Power Platform admin role, we're going to do some comparisons. So I'm actually going to have Adele. She is a permanent admin role for the Power Platform admin role, and that she's going to be our control, because she's got full access over there. And then we're going to take Diego, and we're going to make Diego, give him, through privileged identity management, make Diego's account eligible, and then when we go and assign that and give him access, it'll become active. But that way we've got Dale over here, and then we've got Diego, and that we can do some comparison. All right, so the first thing we need to do is, before we even go into the Power Platform side and everything, we need to even set up PIM, or the privileged identity management. Now, this little section that I'm talking about has got nothing to do with Power Apps, but I still want to walk you through it, the process of how it is done. All right, and then we're going to actually take someone named Christy, and we're going to assign Christy that privileged admin role over there, and then she's the one who's going to go ahead and set up Diego, and set all of that up. Now, the Power Platform admin roles may not have to do any of this, depending on, if you wear many hats in your company, then you may have to do this as well. But if there's already an Azure admin, then they take care of this. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm coming in over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Azure Active Directory and assign a role. Now, some of you may also know that, hey, Daniel, I could do this on the Office 365 admin side over here. I can go and, pick Christy and assign that user, the role to her. Yes, you're right, I can do that. But since I'm going to be spending a lot of time on Azure services today, especially for the PIM, I'm going to do it over there. All right, so just going to walk you through that. There's different ways to do that. So I'm coming over here. If you don't see the Azure Active Directory, you can just go and type that in. So you just do in Azure, and the moment I just do that to Azure AC, it already shows up. So don't see it over here, don't worry, it's available from the search. So I come in, and I can see roles and administrators right over here. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of them already available. Now keep in mind that there's actually 2 of the roles which start with the term privileged. So make sure you pick the correct one. Privileged role administrator, that's the one that we want, because it says can manage role assignments in Azure AD and all aspects of privileged identity management. So that's the one that we want. I'm going over here, and by default a domain admin is already assigned over there, but now we're going to go ahead and assign Christy. So I'm coming over here to the assignments, and I'm going to do a quick search for CHRI, and Christy shows up. So select that, add. And now Christy is the official privileged role administrator. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in as Christy, and now she will go ahead and actually set up the roles for our roles specifically for Diego. So let me just keep this one as it is, and I'm going to now come over here. We get Christy's account or email, put that over here, get the password, put that over here. And let's just make sure that we've logged in. It's logging in as Christy, perfect. And we are in as Christy. See, I can confirm over there as well. Now Christy, this is the first time she's logging in with that role. So we will have to go and search for that. So I'm going to do a privileged, and there it is. I just typed in PRI, but it also shows up at Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. So I click in over here. Now Christy sees a whole bunch of things available. Now let me pause over here and tell you one thing, is that the licensing piece, I already took care of that. All right, I already made sure that this, either the E5 or the additional Azure AD Privileged P2, all of that license is already assigned and taken care of, which is why you see that all of these are available. Otherwise, some of them might be grayed out. So if you're seeing them grayed out, which means you don't have the license. So I'm going to come in over here, and I'm going to manage the Azure AD roles. So in the Azure AD roles, I'm going to click on the roles again. And here are the same roles we saw on the other side also when we were in Active Directory. But right now, we are focused more on the Power Platform Administrator. And as you can see over here, that shows nobody's active and nobody's eligible. So just kind of keeping that in mind over here. So in the eligible roles, there's nobody, and in the active roles there is Adele. So Adele, she's the one who's already active. Now active means that she will always permanently have that role, which is why, as you can see, that state of that role is assigned, and the end time is permanent, which means she will already have that role. And I did this very specifically because I know I'm talking about PIM for break glass access and everything, but I specifically did this to have one who's permanent. That way, when we will log in as Adele and see what role and everything she has, the full-blown Power Platform role, and then we'll also log in as Diego, and we'll see how Diego's account looks, the differences, right? And then after that, if Diego without PIM, and then the Diego with PIM access, and that's a good way to comparison. So Adele is kind of our comparison over here to go ahead and do the comparison with. So now let's go ahead and add a member for the active roles. And I'm going to come over here. It is the default Active Directory. The role over here is the Power Platform Administrator. And I'm going to search for Diego. And here's Diego. I'm going to select. And it's not going to be permanently eligible, but I am going to make the eligibility effective right now all the way up to 1 year. So remember, it's just the eligibility. I'm going to set that up. Now, the beauty of this is that even though somebody, you're making them eligible, it's not going to be eligible permanent. You say that this person, Diego, is allowed PIM access, or he's eligible for PIM access only up to a year, and that's good, right? Because you never know that if Diego leaves the company, but his or her Active Directory account is still there, then at least the eligibility piece is taken out over there, right? Now, for you can make it permanently eligible as well, completely at your discretion. So I'm going to go ahead and do save and add, and it's going ahead and assigning that role over here. Now, if you see, it's only assigned the role, all right? That means Diego is eligible. That doesn't mean that he's active right now. So if I come over here, you'll actually notice the difference. That Diego is eligible, all right? But that doesn't mean that he's active right now. Just kind of see the difference over there. That's why in PIM, you got to make people eligible for that break glass access, but that doesn't mean he already has that access. And that's the beauty of this PIM over here, that you've already factored in that, okay, these are the set of people who are going to be the Power Platform admins, already made that decision, already gave them the permission or the thumbs up to elevate their access, but they don't have that yet. That's the beauty of PIM, to leverage or utilize or implement the break glass access type of process over here. All right, so now that we've set this up, we've got Adele over here and we've got Diego over there. Let's do some comparison, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm now actually going to come back over here. I'm going to, Christy's basically done her job, so I'm going to sign her out. Yeah, is it a good idea to blog All right, so now I'm going to come in, and now I'm going to let's log in as Adele. So I'm going to get her account in, get her password in. Now we've logged in as Adele. Now I know the URL had it for the Azure, but I'm going to go into powerops.microsoft.com and log in out there. Should automatically take me in since I've already got the same browser. The key thing is we just got to make sure it is Adele over here. So I'm going to come in, and here's Adele. All right, keep in mind Adele is the permanent Power Platform administrator. So a couple of things we will immediately notice is, we can come over here, and Adele, this only sees the environment. We come in over here, we can see a bunch of these apps over here. I go to the admin center. In the Power Platform admin center over here, we should be able to see all the environments if there is more than one. So as you can see, when we logged in as just the user, because remember Adele, when she is here, she just logs in as any other user, right? That's why she only saw the default one. When she logged into the admin, because she has admin level access over here, not only did she see the default, but she saw Daniel, which was a trial environment that was set up over here. Another great thing you can do is you can come to the analytics, and you can see the capacity of all the users going on, of all the environments over here, and what is left, what is not left. I'm not going to deep dive into all of these, but you can at least, this is the way you can validate that, hey, Adele is a legitimate Power Platform admin over here. Also, when you come in over here, you can actually see that she has the access to go and create a new policy over here. So these are all, kind of the ways to compare. In fact, I'll just do a test one, because there's another place you can check to see if Adele wasn't a PIM, is an admin, then what would happen is she would not be able to see a move to business, things like that, would not be able to see it for all of the environments. You see, that option would not be available to her. She would only see her environment. So I'm kind of proving to you in a whole bunch of different ways that here Adele is the Power Platform admin, and remember, her eligibility for PIM is permanent. All right, got your trust over there? Good. So now I'm going to go ahead and get myself out over here. Yeah, we'll do that. And I'm going to close this one as well. And we are going to log out of sign out. And which account do you want to sign out? Okay, I've logged out as Adele. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in as Diego. Now Diego, we will do that in again just to do like this before we've gone ahead and assigned or made this PIM role active. Right now it's just eligible, and I want to prove it to you that eligibility doesn't mean he or she has access. And this is a great example. So we've made Diego eligible, but we're still just going to log in because we haven't made him active yet. All right, no problem over there. Fix that. Logged in. Yeah, start my trial. I guess I just didn't assign any licenses. That's fine. So we've logged in. Remember, just to confirm, this is Diego. Logged in. Again, Diego, as a maker, only is able to see this environment because we've logged in as a maker. But the key thing is, let's log into the admin center. And in the admin center over here, I've come in. And right here, we'll be able to see that Diego is able to see both the environment. Oh, this is something another interesting happens. Because I changed the tab, it still went ahead and picked up Adele's account over there. So kind of keep that in mind too, because I see myself getting confused. And if you also are looking at this as like, hey Daniel, this is not working, man. You said that Diego's account would only see that one, but you're seeing both. That's because I wasn't Diego, I was Adele over here. So I'm going to sign out. And this is browser thing. It's got nothing to do with Power Apps or PIM. This is just purely a browser thing. So I'm going to close out from here. And if it doesn't work this time, I'll go ahead and log out of the browser altogether. All right, this is good. So I'll log in. Yeah, that's fine. This is good, right? Because my demo is real life type of examples, things that you would see in your own scenario. So we've come in over here, and the beauty of it is Diego is just an everyday user. So he's not seeing anything because he's got zero Power Platform level admin over here. same thing, right? Come analytics over here, capacity, nothing. We'll see basically just the basic ones, if there is anything the org wide. But over here, top storage usage per environment, nothing, because he is not a Power Platform admin yet. This is proof to you that PIM is working, because we've made the person eligible, Diego eligible, but we haven't activated that person yet. So what I'm going to do is, let's go back now. As Diego, I'm going to go into Azure, into the PIM, and I'm going to go ahead and make myself eligible. So let's come in over here, and we're going to go to portal.azure.com. Now remember, pretty much everybody can go ahead and in your company can go to portal.azure.com. They just may not have any access to anything. Even if they are able to see things, don't worry, they can't do anything. But over here, we still need to come to the Azure, because remember, Diego is eligible, and now we need to make him active. That's why he's already got that access level in Azure over here. So I'm going to go to Azure Active Directory PIM. Coming over here, and now we're going to go and say roles. I want to just take care of my roles. I'm going to log in as Diego over here. He says Diego is already eligible for the Power Platform admin. All right, nothing in the active role sides. It does, nothing in the expired role sides over here. But this is what it is. Now, remember, if Diego was wearing many hats in your company, then he would see a bunch of things over here as well. You could see Exchange online, you could see SharePoint online, you could see a bunch of other things over here. In this case, we are just focusing on Power Platform Admin, and it's very clear that that's all Diego is allowed for. It also says that his eligibility is going to end a year from now. So his eligibility is only approved for up to a year. Again, these are important things for those large enterprise level companies, or follow these governances policies over there for regulation purposes, because now you're following a break glass access. So Diego's here, and I'm going to go and activate, because I'm going to activate that role for getting that administrative level access. I'm going to go ahead and click on activate, and I come over here, and I can go ahead and assign a start time for myself, but I'm just going to leave it as it is, because I want to assign it immediately. As you can see, the scope is just for this domain. We're going to leave that, but you got to go ahead and put in a bunch of these things over here. So I'm going to say my ticketing system over here is going to be, say, just Contoso. Ticket number, I'm going to call that as TN54321, whatever is the number is, and then check to see the capacity. All right, I'm going to go ahead and activate. Activate goes through a 3-stage process, and it's really fast. Stage 1, already going and processing a request and activating a role, validating that your activation is successful, and then afterwards it goes ahead and completes it. So it's going through really fast, but I want you to pay a close eye on this last thing, is that even though after it is activated, you must sign out. And that's actually a good thing, because your role has now been assigned, your account has been assigned to that role. Now you need to sign out, and when you re-authenticate back into the entire Azure/Power Apps, your role takes effect. All right, so you keep that in mind. That's why you got to sign out. Diego, in this case, has to sign out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and even just make sure we close this, and coming back over here, I'm going to log in as Diego. I'm going to go ahead and put in the password, signing in. Yeah, that's fine. And I want to actually do a few things. First is, let's come in over here to the Azure, actually let's come back to the Azure AD PIM, or Privileged Identity Management, see my roles, and over here in the role side, if I go ahead and actually come over here, you will see that my role is active. It is activated, and I've got an end time of 8 hours over here. All right. Sometimes, I know this is a little confusing. It says that, Daniel, my role is active. Why does it still give me activate? So well, go ahead and try it. If I click on that and I come over here to do the validating request, it says the role assignment already exists. That's why everything is grayed out. All right. I know. It would have been nice if this thing was also grayed out, but it is the way it is. What you need to know is that, hey, I've got an active role right now, right? That's one thing over here. Second thing is, if you go to our Azure AD, where are you? Oh, the Active Directory. Now let's take a look at the roles. So when I take a look at the roles over here, and I go and look at our Power Apps, where are you? Power Platform Administrator. You can see that Diego has been automatically added over there by PIM. This is pretty sweet, all right? Because remember, before when we came in, it was just Adele. Now we've got Diego over here as well. So the taking in whoever is the eligible person, PIM access, which in this case is Diego, once it is approved, goes ahead and drops him automatically into the role for that temporary / break glass access. It's all automated. I mean, it's really sweet. But let's not stop over here. Let's actually go into the Power Apps, specifically in the Power Platform admin level, and see all the stuff going on over there. So I'm going to go in. Because remember, Diego was not able to see any of the environments. Diego was not able to see anything in the capacity side. But let's see how things change, right? First things first, let me just make sure. Yep, that is Diego. Now, I come over here. Remember, he is just seeing it as the maker / user. He's not going in, so that way, whatever is the actual permission, it's all in the maker. The real magic happens is when Diego goes in the admin center, the Power Platform admin, is he able to see everything he was before? And coming in over here, and on the refresh side. Now, I will pause over here and say that I have noticed this one thing. It can take up to an hour for this to take effect. Now, it could very well be that this is my demo environment over here. So just something to keep in mind, because it should be effective immediately, all right? So it can take up to an hour, or again, it's all based on your tenant, because I logged in over here, and now Diego is part of the Power Platform administrative level over here. So it's taking up to an hour. But again, that just could be my tenant, or that could also be that this is a test tenant over here. But for you, it might just be immediate. But 1 hour has been the magic number. Another thing you can test is actually not just come over here, but go ahead and sign out. I will do the same thing over here. Go ahead and sign out. Go ahead and actually close the browser. Let's go back in again. And just to be on the safe side, I'll actually come over here, incognito mode, come back into the Power Apps area, signing in. And let's put in Diego's full account. Let's go and put in the password. I'll say no. And let's just double check, all right? Again, so far over here in the main one, I've just logged in as the maker. That's all I see over here. Coming in, admin center. And the admin center also I need to confirm is this Diego. So that's why, as you can see, it is still taking the time, and 1 hour has been the one. So let's just do a time lapse, and I'll come back in 1 hour and we'll check over there. Okay, so if you've noticed my timestamp over here, it actually took me only 15 minutes. So I'm back in 15 minutes over here. Make sure that this is Diego. Now again, here I've just logged in as a regular maker, but if I come in over here to the admin center, loading, now when I come to environments, Diego is also seeing the exact same thing which Adele used to see. Remember, Adele was the permanent admin. So it is working, and it's actually, this is, I would consider this as a normal thing because it's not immediate, but it only took up to 15 minutes. That's actually not too bad. So kind of keep that in mind over here. Also, when it comes to break glass access, many a times it is a planned thing that if I'm going to need an access, as a Power Platform access in about an hour's time or in 30 minutes time or whatever, just go ahead and put that request in ahead of time, and that's where we can put in that timestamp. Because remember, when we were getting the assign the role, you just had that timestamp option, and then you were still allowed 8 hours after that. But all in all, this is proof that the PIM works. You have to have somebody coming back to the Power Platform area over there. Let's go in here. Diego will be added over here, but when you come back into the Azure AD side over here, in the roles, you should see yourself as the active role over there. You've got to assign somebody You've got to assign somebody in the eligible roles. Eligible doesn't mean you already have the role. It just means that you're eligible. Then you can also go ahead and make, that you're only eligible for 1 year, 6 months, however you want that over there. But it works. Remember, now using PIM, you can allow a break glass access level for the Power Platform admins over there, the people who've got the full access level. You can make that as a break glass access over here. And if you are a company which does have to follow rules and regulations that requires that type of privileged level access for a short limited amount of time, you can do that over here. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show was when we came over here in the identity side, there's a couple of things that you can do which we just didn't take a look at more on the side. There is the audit history area over here. So it shows what roles were assigned, what roles were not assigned over here. There is the options to go ahead and even look at the resources, the Azure AD roles over here, just based on just the access areas over there. You can also go ahead and do in more stuff as these requests that you want to do in the role side. How do you want to go and assign it? How many requests that you want to give? Does it need a manager level access? You can go in and do all of that. So hopefully this was helpful to you. And what I'll be doing is, now that I've covered so many admin levels, I'll actually create a YouTube just a group for that, because I've got, I did the PIM one over here. I've done the Azure Analytics sections over there as well, and I've got a whole section of these 10 things that the admins need to know. I'll go ahead and do that as well, and it'll all be available in the link below. So as always, keep power apping.